Right now and answer some of your questions. Alex is here, Dr. Forbes is here, Ryan is always here as well.
So the first question we've got is one we were talking about before the break, and this one's from Nick.
All right, so Nick was asking this question tonight. I was wondering, obviously it can be too cold for tornadoes, but it can ever be too hot, or is temperature not necessarily a factor?
Well, I don't think, in general, it can't be too hot, but with caveats there, that's a tough question. That if you get too hot, generally you're in some desert location that doesn't have the adequate amount of moisture. So usually on the type of days that get tornadoes, it's not going to be too much above, say, 90 degrees.
Or if you're too hot, you're kind of underneath a ridge, and then you might have a lot of sunshine too, so it wouldn't be conducive.
But theoretically, there's no threshold.
No, theoretically, there's no particular threshold. You have to have thunderstorms, and usually for that, you have to have enough moisture to generate the thunderstorms, but I don't think there's a temperature limit.
It's a solid question, though.
Yeah,
you didn't
I like
necessarily
that question.
stump Dr. Forbes.
But he thought about it a little.
You made him think.
He went like this. He went.
Gave me a stunning blow there.
No, not at all. Maybe a body blow.
All right, so the next question is from Ryan.
All right, Ryan, thanks for your question this evening. How long will the Omega block last, and when will the East Coast see severe weather? Well, the Omega block starting to break down now.
Right, absolutely. It's moving off towards the east. East Coast, they'll see some showers for the end of the week, but they're going to notice the cooler weather, too. That's when, with the new setup, we've got that Greenland block coming, and then actually the cooler weather. Really, I think you're going to most notice it into interior parts of the Northeast and New England. But there's a look at how this pattern will transition. And notice those storms following the jet stream, but look at those highs. Low 50s for Buffalo, Burlington. By Sunday, low 50s even in Boston. As you get down towards the mid-Atlantic, you're not as much in play, but
some of these places have been in the 70s and 80s, so it's a lot cooler.
There was a part of that said about severe weather, too, and as this block that we've had breaks down, it drags a cold front Friday toward the East Coast, so some places, maybe from the mid-Atlantic south, might get a severe thunderstorm.
All right, thank you for your question. Let's get some more in.
On the topic of severe weather, James has a question.
Any idea if a tornado outbreak is possible Tuesday? You were just talking about this.
Yeah, certainly possible. I haven't made specific forecasts yet. Well, Tuesday, it's possible, but I haven't made specific forecasts for beyond that yet. But at this point, I'm not saying it's an outbreak on Tuesday, but it could be.
We're still talking 6 days away here, so there's a lot of fine-tuning that goes into the forecast between now and then. Just check back with us. All right, next.
Austin is a general tornado question for Dr. Forbes.
Dr. Forbes, how about this one? Can a tornado have wind speeds over 350 miles per hour? Is it possible?
Well, it's certainly possible. The fastest we know of is around 310 miles per hour, and that's been measured with a mobile Doppler radar. But it's not out of the question, but it would be really, really extreme.
And the high, I mean, the EF5 starts at 200 miles per hour.
Unlimited,
plus. And it goes on. There's no top end.
And the old Fujita scale F5 was topped out at 318.
So this is unlimited now.
All right. So the last question we have time for is from Rhonda.
All right, Rhonda, thanks for your question. If the dew point on West Coast, say 45%, the same on the East Coast, is there any difference in the way it feels? So she's saying degrees or percent?
I think she's asking relative humidity, which temperature-wise, right? I mean, you could have different temperatures with the same relative humidity.
Right.
So it could feel different.
Feel different.
Yeah.
Moisture-wise, it won't. I mean, heat-wise, it may feel different. Moisture-wise, it should not feel different.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Are we buying that?
Sure.
Right,
why not?
Rhonda, thank you for your question, Rhonda. All right, voting over for our best videos of the day. So who will win the top spot tonight and answer some of your questions that you have this evening about the weather? Dr. Forbes is here. Alex is here. Ryan is here. Let's get in as many as we can. Let's go rapid fire here and see what we can do.
All right. Well, then the first one comes from Michael.
Michael, thanks for your question. Why can't Major League Baseball get with you guys and move opening day baseball up north when it's still cold and they cancel games? Totally with you, Michael.
Yeah.
Move all the early season games to southern climates or go to domes.
Yeah.
We had so many problems this year. Cleveland, Detroit, Boston. I mean, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So
they won't call us back.
Yeah.
We call. I'm just kidding.
MLB, give us a jingle.
The next one's from Josh.
Josh asking this tonight. Will the 2016 storm season be somewhat weaker due to El Nino? Will El Nino make 2017 stronger? Are we talking like a severe season?
Well, Dr. Forbes, I don't know, probably the bigger,
about that.
Well, probably the more impact would be on the tropical storm season, where there, El Nino tends to be a suppressant and more likely to be active this year. In terms of El Nino effect on severe weather and tornadoes, a little bit more nebulous whether or not there's a strong reaction.
All right.
All right, the next one comes from Alex.
Alex, thanks for your question tonight. Is it going to stay warm until fall in Pennsylvania? Our resident Pennsylvania forecaster just has to be sitting here.
Yeah, a little cooler as we start up the week, and not going to be crazy cool, but a little cooler, especially up in northern and western parts of the state. I'll be up there this weekend. I'll see y'all there.
Yeah.
As another Pennsylvania resident, I remember some Mays when some of these big cold upper lows came in and got some kind of cold weather. So
you can't bet on anything in Pennsylvania.
Even Ryan lived in Pennsylvania.
I did.
Am I the only one?
Yeah.
You're the only one. Although I did live in Ohio too, so I'm with you there.
We're going to have to ask you to leave.
Right. Yeah.
The next one
there are
is
some
from
Steelers fans in the
Mike
house,
roots for the Steelers.
and an Eagles fan.
the last one is from Christopher.
All right, Christopher, thank you for your question this evening. Why does Alabama have more tornadoes than Mississippi with them being so close to each other?
I'm not sure the exact comparison of the statistics there. And I'm not sure the answer to the question either, to be truthful with you. I think.
Hang on, Dr. Forbes. I'm gonna help you out here.
Okay.
I've got your Alabama stats, your numbers for tornadoes.
All right. And we're going.
So we have the Tornado Alley for Alabama.
Yeah, we got the Tornado Alley. I've done it for Mississippi. I just don't remember the numbers per se. But there's definitely one area there in northern Alabama that has a higher density.
And there's Mississippi.
There's Mississippi. I'm not sure the answer.
But as far as total tornadoes,
that I don't remember the answer in terms of the total tornadoes. Certainly for northern Alabama, there's a corridor in there, but the whole Gulf Coast state area is generally vulnerable.
Yeah, I wouldn't think there's a huge discrepancy,
so.
say, between the two.
That's a tough question to answer off the cuff.
Definitely less in Georgia than those other two
We may look
states.
for those stats and have them for you tomorrow. But thank you, everyone, for your questions this evening. And we do it every day on the show. WUTV is the hashtag you can use on Twitter. All right, let's get you up to date on what's going on with your forecast. We'll hand it over to Alex.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at your weather right now. We are talking about increasing clouds across parts of the East Coast, western Pennsylvania into western New York. You'll notice more cloud cover, also showers, maybe a rumble of thunder into tomorrow afternoon. Parts of, say, New York, Boston, you'll enjoy more sunshine through most of the day. Now we take you into the north central part of the country. How about that area of low pressure continuing to bring the rain showers. We start the day along parts of Illinois and Indiana, and that's where we'll end the day with rain showers. Notice all around that low, those scattered rain showers and rumbles of thunder possibility. Down into the south central, there's the storms tonight through the overnight. By tomorrow morning, action south and southwest of the Dallas area. That'll eventually work closer to Houston. The good news is these showers and thunderstorms, they're moving. So it's not going to be the kind of setup where you see the showers sit over an area and just keep on raining. Southeast, you've got increasing clouds for many rain showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder into parts of Mississippi and Alabama by tomorrow afternoon, maybe a spotty raindrop or two into parts of the Carolinas. And